Welcome to the Do It All Dad Year podcast. Dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. What Gen X dads understand. And this is episode 400 something. The magical mini-me Meatball tour. Holla! Thank you very much! I'm at a vintage bookstore that sells used records and CDs to buy another last-minute gift add-on for my son's endless birthday party weekend. Despite his big brother constantly pointing out, it's not your birthday anymore. I don't care how much daddy is loving you more than me. His birthday cards for me suck compared to yours. Holla! Thank you very much! I bought John Lennon's greatest hits on CD for $4 just so I could sample some John Lennon material on the owner. Like I just paid my one drink minimum for a Pabst Blue Ribbon to do 4 minutes at the Eastville Comedy Club before becoming a full-time stay-at-home comedian 3 kids later and say, on my Do It All Dad Year podcast, I state I've written 4 books and recorded 400 plus podcasts since my lucky number 3 was born. John Lennon wishes he was this productive during his stay-at-home dad years. After Paul McCartney shamed John Lennon into becoming a stay-at-home dad, from writing Hey Jude to console his first abandoned son he wanted nothing to do with before having his second child, Sean, with Yoko, to give involved fatherhood another shot. Still, 2 minutes into a baby stroll through Central Park West, one day into playing the role of a loving, emotionally present stay-at-home dad, John Lennon screams up at the sky, choke on a fucking cucumber scone, Paul. All the primal scream therapy in the world isn't helping me. Holla! Thank you very much! John Lennon experimented with being a vegetarian, yet always found a way to sneak meat into his diet after realizing what havoc Yoko's bean curd smoothies did in his sex drive, exchanging his lost druggie groupie drilling years in LA in favor of snuggling Yoko on too much CIA secret stash strong acid delivered by Dr. Timothy Leary personally to make it another Merry Free Christmas and creepy conjuring New Year. At the same time, John Lennon could have lived anywhere in the world, but chose Central Park West in the Dakota building instead, knowing any starving artist or not could afford a bowl of good spaghetti and meatballs at Carmine's on Broadway after scrapping together enough bread. I used to have lunch dates with a pretty girl from PA named Holly at Carmine's, and we'd split the meatball parm hero there, which was big pussy with bad back problems. Big. The meatball hero was also served with a side of crispy yet light Caesar salad with fresh baked croutons, tasting as polished, distinguished as the sumptuous, moist throughout, ultra inhalatory meatballs, begging to disappear in your belly within a New York minute. Subway meatballs, these weren't, because they were bigger, rounder, juicier balls of balling, big time, pimping perfection. Old school Jay-Z lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Now sometimes, softball-sized meatballs are a turnoff if they remind you of your putz-prone dad standing in his nice dress shirts again after work at a hard 6:30 at the latest during kosher, meatball, and spaghetti night. Only for your mom to blurt out again, Steven, you stain your shirt again. Remind me again why I converted to marry into your putzy DNA again. Holla! Thank you very much! Only for my father to reply with, Carol, if you never met me, you would have married some nerd whose mother would have been intimidated by your perfect math SAT score and that voice you do. That's a major repellent for everybody. My ex-girlfriend, who went to Columbia, introduced me to the meatball pie at Lombardi's in Soho when we visited my parents and friends back east during winter holiday break once after living together in West Hollywood for the past year. I was blown away, knowing no turkey meatball drenched in delectable, never too syrupy rich plum sauce from our nearby Gelson's grocery store on Santa Monica Boulevard could ever match the vastly superior air-light might of these mini meatballs that were bound for glory. Bruce Springsteen lives. I'll give him some love. Holla. Thank you very much. When I lived in West Hollywood, I had my mom buy me the Sopranos cookbook and learn how real deal Italian meatballs use a killer combination of ground pork, sirloin, and veal, while also using plum Roma tomatoes to be later boiled and peeled after dropping them into a cold water bath soon after to part the skins from their tender loving juiciness, itching to be unfurled, with scatterings of peeled garlic and diced up fine shreds of Italian parsley inside. I actually felt like a semi-functioning adult back then, going to the farmer's market at the Grove to buy the different meats for Tony Soprano's homemade meatballs versus splurging at the far pricier supermarket chain Bristol Farms. Walking distance, not that anybody walks anywhere in LA, but it was still walking distance. Roughly 4 blocks down the road from the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills, because despite my rent-controlled apartment on Harper Street in West Hollywood, back then my inner Jew couldn't justify the more extravagant price point purchase. Despite shopping there at Bristol Farms, more likely leading me to come in contact with George Plimpton, loading up a more organic vanilla bean ice cream to serve Ronald Reagan and Nancy after taking in a home screening documentary on Kurt Cobain, triggering Howdy Doody. These meatballs, using the holy trinity of pork, veal, and sirloin ground meat, were so good I shot off death stares at my ex-girlfriend for offering my bountiful leftovers to her best friend from Bel Air, who was a member of the Nordstrom family, before they stopped selling Ivanka's statuesque working girl shoes because most Yenta Press in Manhattan failed to fill out her longer, shapely sized lines, I guess. I'll still never forget my dad for dumping pounds of meatball heroes made for my bar mitzvah party by his close friend and famed chef of Bronx-made fame, Carmine, who had nothing to do with Carmine's Off-Broadway, outside of his artisan genius being lumped together with what native New Yorkers considered a glamorized middle America-sized catering tourist trap, which is unfortunate because both restaurants make you proud to be a beneficiary of Eastern Standard, heartwarming Italian-American cooking again and again. Now my daughter is taking weirded out bites from my homemade mini-me Reconstructionist meatballs to kickstart my son's 4-year birthday weekend celebration into extra rollicking high gear, which use roused tomato sauce to save me time. After sauteing these mini ball beauties in expensive extra virgin olive oil, fresh chopped parsley, and ample sprinklings of shaved garlic and red hot chili pepper flakes to take this Eastern Standard spaghetti and meatball dish so much higher. Slicestone lives. Holla. Thank you very much. I can't get mad at my daughter's weirded out bites, despite me making them mini meatballs, that being my kids, but for my daughter specifically, so she wouldn't be so freaked out from staring down a fistful of cow at the time, knowing she's only been eating kosher meat since my koshertarian comedian project to get my kids excited about giving the koshertarian diet began. Can I get a holla for the koshertarian comedian being bound for glory? Holla! Thank you very much! I cooked the mini-me meatballs in the sauce on a low heat with the cover for a solid hour, which paid huge dividends, making it more than worth the wait, especially after I spot her younger brother Arthur, hunched over in a perpetual, so tantalizing attack mode, uttering every other neat yet mountainous inhale, "This is really yummy, Daddy." Growing up, the kosher butcher store was always a turnoff, because the butchers there always seemed like they literally slept in raw pink meat. Now that pubescent concern is a thing of the past, as I proceed to finish off my mini-me meatball birthday creation for breakfast and lunch the following day to embrace, reimagine Eastern Standard greatness and celebrate a newborn dad kind of love, offering the possibility of more success-filled tomorrows to make 2021 my most glorious year yet. Back again in a New York groove. And I'll talk to you guys soon.